Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to be discussed about the loop controls in Java programming language. There may be a situation when you need to execute a block of code several number of times. In general, statements are executed sequentially. The first statement in a function that execute first, followed by the second, and so on. Programming languages provide the various control structures that allow for more complicated execution path. A statement follows us to execute a statement or a group of statements multiple times, and following is the general form of a loop statement in the most of the programming languages. So we have the different types of loop in Java programming language. Fourth one is a for loop, and then for each loop, while loop, and the do while loop. So now we see what is for loop. So for loop, a for loop is a repetitions control structure that allow you to efficiently write a loop to execute a specific number of time. A loop is a useful when you know how many times a task is to be repeated. Now we see the syntax of the for loop. So here it's a for, and then here you can initialize, then you can give it the boolean expressions, and then you can do the updates, and then your statement will be right here. So the initializing step is executed first and only once. This step allows you to declare a control variable, and these steps end with a semicolon. You can see here. So this step end with semicolon. Remember that. Next, the Boolean expressions is evaluated. If it is true, the body of the loop is executed. If the loop will not be executed and controls jump to the next statement, pause the for loop. After the body of the for loop gets executed, the control jump back up to the update statement. It allows you to update any loop control variable. This statement can be left blank with a semicolon. Now we see the Boolean expressions. The Boolean expressions is now evaluated again. If it is true, the loop execute and process repeat body of the loop and then update step and then the Boolean expressions. After the Boolean expression is false, the for loop is terminated. Now we see the example of this for loop. So here I just write my class's name is for loop, and then I just write public static and void main, then string, and string is arguments, and then here I just declare for, and for integer I which is equal to 0, 110. So this is a step of initializing. Now here I just give it the boolean, so I is greater than 1. So here this loop check the statement is true or statement is false, and then I write I minus minus. So this is a decrement operator, and now system dot out dot print, and here is a here I just write print line, and then the value of I is, and then I just close this string here and plus I, so concatenate I here. Now just see the output of it. So proceed, and then you can see the value of I is 10 because I is greater than 1. So I is greater than 1, so I value is 10 here. So the loop, so the value of I is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9. So it will be executed 9 times because it start with the value 2. So now Now I just gave it the example of infinite for loop. So infinite means it will be execute the unlimited number of time. So here I just simply make a change like I, and I is equal to 1 here, and I is greater than 1. So this is the increment operator here. So system dot print line, and the value of I is, and concatenations. Now I just run this code. So and and here I just write I is greater than or equal to 1. So you can see when I just run this code, and the value of I is, so it will be run infinite number. So this is an infinite loop, as a condition would never return false. It will always true. So the initializing step is set up the value of the variable I is to 1. Since we are incrementing the value of I, it would always be the greater than 1. And the Boolean expressions here is I is greater than 1. So it would never return false. This would evenly lead to the infinite loop conditions. Thus, it is important to see the coordination between, the coordination between Boolean expression and increment and the decrement operators to determine whether the loop would terminate at some point of the time or not. So this is the example of the for loop. So I just finished this. So now we just see the example of the for loop iterate an array. So here I just remove this, and now after this int array, and then which is equal to 2, and here I just write 12 and 45 and 9. So we learn about the array in our next upcoming lectures. So I here I just write 4 and 4 integer here, and I which is equal to 0, and then I is less than array dot length, and then I plus plus. So here I just write system dot out dot print, and the print line here, and array which is I. So here I start with 0, as an array index start with 0 2. So now we just see the example of iterate, and you can see 2 12 45 and 9. So this is the output of iterate in array. Now we just turn to for each loop in Java. For each is another array traversing technique like for loop, which is introduced in Java 5. It starts with the keyword for, like a normal in for loop. Instead of declaring or initializing a loop counter variable, you declare a variable that is the same type as a base type of the array, followed by a colon, which is then followed by the array name. In the loop body, you can use the loop variable you created rather than using an index array element. It's commonly used to iterate over an array or a collection class. So here is a syntax of the for loop, which is for, and then you can type a variable and then array. Okay, and then you can write this statement using var means a variable. So now here we just see the example of for loop. Now here I just write public static and void main, which is a string and then arguments. Then here I just write int and the size of array and marks, which is equal to 120, 130, 140, and 150 and 95, and at the last I just write 100. Okay, so close this code here, and then here I just write int and highest underscore marks, and highest marks which is equal to maximum, and here I just write marks. Okay, so now, so here it's a maximum. Okay, so now I just write system dot out dot print line, and then the print line is, so here I just click on the print line, and the print line here is the highest score is. Okay, and then I just write plus highest underscore marks. Okay, and here I just close this code, and then I just write public and static integer, and then maximum, and here I just write int, and then numbers. Okay, so now I just open my statement, and then I just write integer which is max so far. Okay, which is equal to number, and the number here is 0. Now, so it is equal to, so I just write which is equal to number. Okay, so these are the numbers, not a number here, it's a numbers. Now I just write for each loop here, so for and int num, which are numbers here. Okay, and then here I just write if statement, so if number is greater than max so far, and the max so far are max so far, which is equal to num, and then here I just write return value, so return value here is max so far. Okay, and a bracket here, so I just remove this bracket, so its value is return max so far. Okay, now we just check the output for this. So we have 120, 130, 140, 150, 95 and 100. So it will pick only a highest score. So you can see proceed, and the highest score here is 150. So this is a example of the for each loop. Now we just turn to the while loop. A while loop statement in Java programming language rapidly execute a target statement as long as given condition is true. So now we just check the while loop, and this is a program of while loop. Yes. So what is the syntax of the while loop? So here you simply write while boolean expression, okay, and then your statement. Okay, here a statement may be a single statement or a block of statements. The condition may be any expressions, and the true is any non-zero value. When executing, if the boolean expression result is true, then action inside the loop will be executed. This will continue as long as expression result is true. When the conditions become false, program control passed to the line immediately follow the loop. So how this while loop run? So first of all, it will just check the statement, which is the boolean statement or and the method you declare are in your code, and then it's come to the code, means what you write the conditional code here. Then it check the condition, and then if the condition is true, then so it will go to the block code and then go to the conditions and then execute. If the condition is false here, so it's directly go to the ending point. Here key point of the while loop is that the while loop may not ever run when the expression is tested and the result is false. The loop body will be skipped and the first statement after the loop will be executed. Now we see the example of while loop. So here I just write public static void main and then string and arguments. Then I just write integer I which is equal to 10, and here I just write while and I is greater than 1, and then I just write system dot out dot print, and the print line here is I just pass the parameter I, and at the last I plus plus. So I save this code and execute it. So you can see it's run an infinite number of time. So this is infinite while loop. Now I just write here minus minus. So I stop this and then you can see 10 9 8 7 6 5 3 2, and it start from 1. So this is an example of while loop. So now we just turn to the do while loop. A do while loop is similar to a while loop. Expect that a do while loop is generated to execute at least one time. Means the do while loop, if a condition is true or a condition is false, it will be executed one time. So the syntax of this do while loop is, so here I just write the syntax. So you can write do and then the statement here, and then you can write while loop and boolean expressions here. Notice that the boolean expressions appears at the end of the loop. So the statement in the loop execute once before the boolean is tested. If the boolean expression is true, the control jump back to, to do this statement, and the statement in the loop execute again. This process repeat until the boolean expression is false. Means when the boolean expression is false, the process will stop work. Now we just see the example of this do while loop. I just remove this, and here I write public static void main and then string and arguments. Now here I write integer I which is equal to 10, and then I write do. So do system dot out dot print line which is I here, and then I write I minus minus, and then I write while. So while here the boolean expression, so I is greater than 1. So now just see the result. So you can see 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2. So now here I just write the increment operator here for the infinite number of time. So you can see it will be executed when this statement is false, so it will be stop work. So these are the loops in Java, which are the for loop, for each loop, while loop, and do while loop. Thanks for watching this lecture. See you in next lecture. Thank you.